Hey everyone, hope you're all well today. It's Unenlightened University signing on. Just gonna have a little bit of a chat today. Nothing major, just a few little discussions. Nothing much going on. Just gonna give you a few thoughts I've been having about things. I'm just gonna play a few video games while I have a chat with you. I might upload this, might not. Probably will. I'll just put a little graphic over it. It's gonna be a nice little fireside chat, if you will. Nice and simple. Just relax. Say late Thursday night here in the UK. It's been quite cold today. Cold but sunny, which is nice. Nice to see the weather is slowly improving, getting into our way for spring now. It's February the 14th. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. I've not been up to a huge amount really. Just been doing my dissertation, things like that. So nothing really too exciting. Just doing my dissertation on the outright at the minute. Doing it for my uni. It's about 35% of my grade, I think. So yeah, no, just cracking on with that really. To get a good deal at the co-op. Well, I say it's a good deal. I thought it was a good deal, and now I'm not too sure on it, to be honest. It's at the co-op. Which is if you don't know, it's a regional chain in England. And they have a sort of £5 meal deal. It's like a meal deal is essentially it's like a certain combination of items that add up to a slightly lower value than they would be individually. So a meal deal is more characterised for lunch, so you'd get like a sandwich, a drink, and a bag of crisps for £3. Which is pretty good, but the co-op have taken it a step further. Actually, they've done this. I guess you'd call it like a dinner meal deal for £5. I was quite shocked to find it. It was 2 pizzas, 2 Dr. Urker pizzas. I went for 2 pepperonis because I'm not too keen on mozzarella as a cheese. There were the other options, so I got those, and then I also got a bag of wedgies, some southern fried chicken, and a small tub of ice cream. It was a double-decker Cadbury's ice cream, which was fairly enjoyable. The ice cream was probably the highlight. I'd say the chicken portions it was quite a small portion. There was only about 5 little chickeny pieces in it, which is enough, and you could probably make a decent sized sandwich out of them. But I wasn't too impressed by them, to be honest. But they were okay. They weren't too bad. The pizzas, on the other hand, they're not brilliant. The base is very thin, but also it's like too thin, so the sauce sort of makes it a bit sodden and not very pleasant. And the pepperoni is a bit too salty, and I wasn't too impressed with those. And also the wedgies were a little bit tasteless. They smelt nice when you open. Like when you open a bag of frozen food, you can sort of almost smell it. That was kind of nice. But yeah, no, it wasn't. It certainly was cheap, and 2 pieces, a bag of chips, a bag of little mini chicken fillets, and a tub of ice cream for £5 is nothing to be snuffed at. However, I don't know, the food was a bit bland and tasteless, to be honest. I wasn't too impressed on it. But saying that, if you're in a fix, got someone over for dinner, and you both want dinner, it's £2.50 each, and get a admittedly subpar pizza, but it could be quite nice, I suppose, if you're into that sort of thing. So yeah, you can do that. It might be quite nice if you enjoyed that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah. So that's not a particularly interesting story, but it's still a story all the same. Like I say, this isn't going to be a very informative. I don't know what you call this, like a little rant, I guess. Well, I like to call them the fireside chats. Imagine we're in the library and I'm just narrating to you some interesting points. Or not interesting points, but there you go. Yeah, so I wasn't too impressed by that. But that being said, if you're in a tight spot, you need a quick bite, got someone over, it can work out quite well, I guess. But anyway, go out there and try it. I think they do different variations in different months and stuff, but at different times and that. So get out there and have a look, see what you think. What have I been up to? I've had my seminars as well recently. At least this is something I wanted to bring up. Actually, I become slightly more frustrated as time goes on. There's this is the one of the main gripes I have with academia. Is I think sometimes they use, by they I mean people who write like textbooks or like theoretical books. They write overly complex sentences, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like they do it in an attempt to make themselves seem quite clever. That may not be the case, but I'll give you an example here. So here's a example from a scholar called Spivak, and she's a sort of I don't know. I suppose it's a post-colonial feminist. She might not be there, but she operates in that sort of discourse. And listen to a quote here, and this is the opening sentence. The original title for this paper was Power, Desire, Interest. Indeed, whatever power these meditations command may have been earned by a politically interested refusal to push the limit of the founding presumptions of my desires as far as they are within my grasp. This vulgar three-stroke formula applied both the most resolutely committed and most ironic discourses, keeps track of what Althusser so aptly named philosophies of degeneration. I have involved my philosophy in this awkward way as to accumulate the fact that calling the place of the investigator into question remains a meaningless piety and indecent critiques of the sovereign subject. Thus, although I will attempt to foreground the precarnances, we can't even read that one, of these positions throughout, I know such gestures can never suffice. Now, while I can certainly respect wordplay, and I'm quite a big fan of it, why would you try and make your argument more complex and less easy to understand? That's what I sort of fail to understand with this kind of reading. It's quite frustrating, really, and it can certainly be annoying. So yeah, that's I don't know. It's needlessly complex, sort of up their own arse style, and I'm not really too big of a fan of that kind of writing to me. So I much prefer, simple. It might be a bit of a juxtaposition to say simple philosophies, but I think some ideas in philosophy can be easily expressed, and then they're just not. I think it just acts as an exclusion for people. I think it frustrates me quite a lot, to be honest. I always detest when I get a reading like that. I have to slog through it and try and get some meaning out of it, and no one really knows what these kind of people are on about. But anyway, there you go. So that's a little bit of a rant over with. So in terms of the channel, we've been sort of we'll do like a state of the uni, unenlightened university now, a state of the union type thing. We'll have a quick look at our analytics, see what's going on. So yeah, no, it's doing well, better than I expected. We've gained 2 subscribers in the last few days, so that's really good to see. We're nearly at 10 subscribers now, which is way more than I ever thought I'd get. So that's exciting to see. I'm enjoying the content I'm putting out now. I think it's a lot better than previous ones. You won't be able to find the ones that I'm not happy with. They've been deleted. Yes, let's have a look. We've still on 9 subscribers. And also I now notice I've accidentally live streamed for 43 seconds and then 9 minutes, where I obviously failed to turn off my live stream. So we'll now go and we'll delete those so they don't appear on the live channel. Oh, actually, hang on. So I've got 3 live streams that I've messed up. So we'll get rid of those quick. Don't even want those cluttering up the channel. Goodness me. No, so yeah, I've got to sort of design a new template for the thumbnail, sort of give them all a uniform look. Learning how to use a GIMP, which is like a sort of open source Photoshop. So I highly recommend you download it if you haven't got it. So like it's free as well, so it's always good. Oh goodness, I can't figure out how you get rid of these live streams now. But you know, I like the idea of live streaming. I want to get a bit more confident on the mic before I do that sort of thing, though. So maybe in the future, though, I'd like to do those for sure. Well, there must be a way of doing it. That's probably in the live stream section, isn't it? Yeah, but in terms of what I've been doing in my spare time, I've been enjoying the Six Nations. Quite enjoy watching England play. We had a very good match on Sunday, and then the Saturday previous we've won both ones, and also won a bonus try, which will perhaps us up in the points. Hopefully, it will give us the edge we need. So yeah, I'll be excited to see those guys play again. I don't think there's one for a while now. I'm not entirely sure when that will start up again. I think it's like I say, I think it's in 2 weeks, but I'm not completely sure. Yeah, I can't seem to figure out how to delete these videos now. Let's have a look. Let's try and let's click on it and see what happens. So if you did end up watching the live streams, I see what's happened. I've I think I've stopped the live stream. I've actually left my broadcasting software running, so that kind of makes sense. We'll just should be able to get rid of those somewhere. How do we get rid of this one? Anyway, we'll figure it out at some point. I'm sure it's no ways. No one's. Well, I hope people don't watch anyway. People might think, oh, exciting, 3 new videos. It's second long clips of me trying to use the live streaming feature, because I thought you had to have a webcam to actually properly utilise it, but I guess you don't. So that's good to know. Good to know it works at least. I just need to wipe it out. I could be doing this on the live stream, I suppose, but no. Oh, here we go. I think we found it now. Perfect. Okay. Video details. Here we go. I'll just we'll switch them all to public for now, private for now, and then people won't see them, so that'll act in the same sort of way. So that'd be cool. We'll just although I think I might have to wait 24 hours for oh, actually no, I don't. Never mind. Yeah, fix this probably. We will set it to private. So yeah, the live streaming software all seems to work out well, which is really good. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated than that, but that's really good. So yeah, okay, cool. We thought we could maybe try and settle into that at some point. We did get 1 view on the live stream, so shout out to you, and again, sorry that you had to sit through that. Can only apologise. Didn't know what I was doing, so yeah, excellent. Right, so I also realised I was sitting quite far away from the microphone. I'll be able to boost the audio. It should be fine. Lovely. Okay, well that's all that sorted out. So let's have a look at the actual channel properly now. Most recent one was Mel's Hole, as of the time of this recording. It's quite an interesting story that, all about this guy apparently found a infinite hole, and he has all these other crazy claims to fame. If you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth a watch. Most popular video still seems to be the Ghost Train, a paranormal incident. It was Sydney Luna Park. I went there actually on holiday over Christmas. That was a lovely place, really stunning to look at, because it's like a 1920s amusement park. You don't really see many like that around nowadays, so it's nice to see him surviving still in there. Still have a place in history, which is good, like that. So yeah, it's all quite good. Looking good on the YouTube channel. We'll get to 10 subscribers soon. Maybe we'll do that for a special. Do a little live stream for a bit, play some Counter-Strike or something. Yeah, so that'd be exciting. Also, spare time, I've been playing a bit of Skyrim, back into the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I've always been a big fan of the series. I think I've probably played, I tried to think how many hours I spent on Morrowind and Oblivion. Probably the most played one would be Oblivion. So I've had that. Got given it as a present by a friend, actually. Well, I sort of borrowed it as a present as a friend, and then I went on to illegally download it later. But I finally got around to getting the downloadable content on Skyrim, and been playing through those. Really, I've finished the Dawnguard one now, the vampire one. I wasn't too happy with the ending on that, but the storyline was quite good. All the new armor types and vampire abilities. Although I ended up not becoming a vampire, because it was kind of a little bit. It's more hassle than it was worth, sort of thing. And plus, you get locked in third person when you play the vampire, and I don't really like that too much. I'm not a massive fan of that, to be honest, but there you go. So yeah, in the meantime, I've just sort of been building my homestead up with the half-fired downloadable content, and then I've sort of moved on towards the what's it called? The Dragon Ball DLC, which is I'm not really sure what it is yet, but you go to the realm of Hermaeus Mora, it looks like. So that'd be really interesting to get through. I'm quite interested in exploring the new lore and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm a massive fan of the Elder Scrolls. I've been playing it. Well, I've not been playing it since Daggerfall came out. I was just born when Daggerfall came out, but I remember having my old computer back in the day. I must have been 5, 6 playing Daggerfall, not really knowing what I was doing. It's a little bit of a complex game for a modern audience like me, but I remember enjoying that. I've gone back since and I've played it properly. Maybe we can do that for the 10 subscriber live stream. That'd be interesting. They've released that Unity patch, actually, which is it's fantastic. I've actually I had a little play on it. I've not played much of it, admittedly, but yeah, no, that looks absolutely stunning. So that's really good to see. Maybe I can run on my computer probably, so I can do that. So yeah, that's quite exciting. Got a few new video ideas in the pipeline as well. They'll be coming out probably maybe one over the weekend, and then some over the next few days. But yeah, I won't spoil the surprise yet, because I think these are all quite interesting ones. Website I have been using for most of my sources at the minute has been the Rational Wiki, which is I highly recommend. It's sort of it's a Wikipedia, but it's got a slightly more alternative angle, I suppose you could say, where they focus on UFOs, conspiracy theories, wacky religions, sort of wacky characters, that sort of thing. Really worth a look at. Like I say, you can just link it to the I'll link it in the description to this. Now that I say that, and you can have an explore of that. Also, the other day I had a bit of a nostalgia, I must admit. I was thinking about my childhood. I'm going sort of through getting my degree is quite a transformative phase of my life, so I sort of you know, as you do, you reflect on the past and you sort of think about what you used to get up to when you were a child, and sort of speaking about how me and my family members would get up and play a few video games together. And one particular one came to my mind. It was this video game on the original Xbox called Whacked, and it was essentially like a little game show themed. So like, it's weirdly like a Smash Bros, if you know what I mean. For those of you who aren't familiar with Whacked, it was sort of like a little mini series of competitions, and you could play multiplayer, split screen. And I remember going over a friend's house and playing this quite a lot, and just having a really great time. All the like cool little characters, weren't it? They've truly great game. So I think I might have to if my father still has it in the loft, I have to try and get the old original down and see if we've got a copy of this knocking about. Fingers crossed we do. I've got a feeling we probably won't have the disc knocking about anymore. But yeah, like I say, you gotta hopefully it'll be there, but so we can have a little play on that. Also as well, used to play the original Halo with my younger brother. We were pretty equal playing it. Recently actually re-downloaded it on the computer. I noticed as well actually, now this is a bit of a shame, that Game Ranger doesn't seem to be up to the standard that it used to be. I used to use that a lot, and it was quite efficient at finding all the matches that people had set up and that sort of thing. So I wonder maybe I'm not using it properly again or something. But yeah, it was a slight shame, to be honest. So, but hopefully that would make a comeback at some point. I'd be very interested to see that. There was also that Russian one as well, wasn't there? At some point, it was like a Halo 3 port to the PC. Obviously, Halo 3 didn't come out on the PC originally, so that's quite exciting. I've been trying to figure out how to get that works, but I think I'm just looking at the wrong websites and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can probably tell by my ramblings here, I'm sort of more of a fan of I suppose they're not vintage games, but the sort of 2000 to, well, yeah, about the 2000s to the 2011 mark is about like sort of the gaming zone I stay in. I did recently play. I do have a PlayStation 4, but I rarely go on it now, to be honest. Did play through the new Spider-Man. Massive Spider-Man fan, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, I haven't really been playing it a huge amount now. That may just be a result of my uni work, and I probably will engage with it a bit more in the summer, in my summer break. But yeah, like I say, yeah, don't know. So yeah, that's my thoughts on those. I don't necessarily think new games are bad or anything, or old games are bad at all. I'm a fan of vintage games as well. I quite enjoy retro video games. There's a really good archive for DOS games on the PC. And also I do own a N64, and I enjoy playing that. Particularly Mario Kart, get out with another controller. I always seem to win because no one knows how to quite hold those three-pronged N64 controllers. They were a little bit ridiculous, really. So yeah, no, that's sort of what I've been up to recently. Just been doing that really. Been watching a few movies and stuff, but nothing new really, nothing too exciting. But yeah, like I say, do stay tuned to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to spread it about a bit, trying to get it out there a bit more. Hopefully we can get up to. My dream for this would be 100. Once we get into double digits with the 10, I'd be dead chuffed, and then hopefully maybe we can get up to 100, and I'll be really quite happy with that. Obviously, I don't think I'm not going to be able to do this for very much longer. As it stands, it will be sort of another few months really until summer. I have to work a summer job full time, and I won't be able to do it when I go back home properly. I might be able to. That might be a bit pessimistic, but for the most part, it will just be a abandoned project probably. But that's okay. Like I said, I'm not really doing this for any other reason than I quite enjoy. I quite enjoy the challenge of editing a video. I've been trying to improve my editing style, that sort of thing. So yeah. So that's the sort of state of the uni channel at the minute. Thought what might be fun is if we went on the Ask Reddit and had a look at the top questions at the minute and sort of answer them, and I can answer them and give you my opinions on it. So number one on Ask Reddit as of 1 o'clock in the morning in the UK, in now February 15th, goodness me, excuse me. So we've got, with 12,500 upvotes, is what is the one product that is completely worth your money? Now the top answer here is, as a homeowner, I can't say it enough, a wet/dry vacuum. So that's for like cleaning carpets and that sort of thing. That's quite a boring answer, to be honest, but I suppose it's cost effective if you use it a lot. But one item completely worth your money. For me, I think I'm going to say Audio Technica headphones. Fantastic brand. I'm not sure on the price now. Look out quickly. I did have a pair of oh yeah, they're sort of still similar price to when I got them. So it's I own a pair of MX ATH MX 30s, I believe. I did own 50s, but I gave them to my brother, and then I somehow ended up with these, and I can't quite remember what happened there. But anyway, so they're fantastic headphones. They're brilliant audio quality. Really great to listen to. I use it for train journeys. It's sort of quite sound blocking as well, which is quite good. So yeah, that's sort of that's my opinion on that. So we've got the other one with 4,200 upvotes is what are you boycotting? And the top post on this is Kellogg's, and he says he works for the company. I just them taking the mick a little bit. Yeah, but Kellogg's is quite a massive company to boycott. I mean, you'd be boycotting all sorts of things. You need boycotting all fibrous foods, I'd imagine. But you got to stand by your guns. Absolutely, I agree with that. So good on him. Hope he wish him luck in that. What am I boycotting? Not really boycotting anything. No company have particularly upset me. Can't say I'm boycotting anything at the minute. I suppose. Don't really buy bottled water, I suppose. But that's not really a boycott. That's just more of it's impractical, and it's not impractical. It's very practical, but it's very expensive for water you can get out of any tap. I don't really do that, I suppose. But there you go. So what else is going on? What else is going on this subreddit? If you were a dictator, what things would you ban? It's quite a good one. Quite a good question. I have a little think about that while I'm reading you the top answer. This one says, I would ban those little ads with the X's that you somehow have to press to make the ad go away, and 50% of the time you end up pressing on the ad and getting redirected. This guy should be dictated, and I think that's a very good point. Now, what would I ban? I would ban I'd ban wouldn't like to ban anything necessarily. The only thing I'd like to ban is other people trying to infringe on people's freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I suppose that would be me. That'd be my one. What else have we got? Well, it's quite a sad one there. We won't read that up. We won't lower the mood of this nice little chat we're having. Regarding history, what do you think should be taught in school but commonly isn't? Let's look at the top post for this and I'll think of my answer. African history in general. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, there's a real lack of it as well. Like there's I forget his name now. I think his name was Musa, and he was the richest person, like scaled up, obviously the richest person to ever live. And he's completely ignored. But yeah, no, definitely, I think I can agree with that. I suppose African history will be taught in Africa, but it's sort of a product of the Western education systems. But yeah, no, I can get on board with that. And teaching all history is good history. So yeah, no, I can completely get behind that. I'd like to see more of the history of pre-Christian Europe. I think that's quite fascinating. And should it's again similar to how African history should be taught. This history is it's quite often ignored and sort of like not really seen as very relevant or valued. But like that sort of period between, sort of like I suppose before the Roman Empire as well, with all the Gauls and the Celtics and stuff, is really very interesting. And the Celtic stories are fascinating and really interesting to listen to. So I'd like to see that taught. Also, Aztec, the native populations of South America. I'd love to see that taught properly. The Aztecs they're fascinating. I watched countless videos on them now. I haven't managed to find any books yet, but I will do at some point. I can't afford books anyway at the minute, but yeah, no. So I'd like to see that taught as well. Yeah, just sort of, I can agree with this top comment. Actually, give it a little upvote because it's quite right. The more complete of a historical picture we can give people, the better, I think. So, yeah, completely on board with that. It's quite an interesting thread, actually. It might be, it would be good. As well, I have seen, there's another one here about the horrors of 20th century communism. Again, yeah, completely agree. It's taught, but it's not fully expressed in the same way as something like the Holocaust is. I'm not saying it should be taught in the same way. Obviously, they're very different things. But no, definitely, I can agree with that. Should be definitely taught. Yeah, it's a shame really that there's a bit of a lack of historical understanding. It's not through anyone's fault particularly. I don't think there's any evil puppet master. It's just what's convenient to teach a classroom full of 30 children who might not be particularly interested in history. You've got to try and keep it as relevant to them as possible. I have also seen in recent years a real push to teach about the expansion of the empire and sort of what comes along with that. So the transatlantic slave trade, which is good, and it's important that we understand this part of our history. Sort of understand what it was, why it happened, how it happened, so it can never happen again. That sort of stuff. So yeah, that's a really interesting thread actually. So yeah, very good thread, very interesting. The Emu War, the Emu War. It's the good old Australians trying to kill a bunch of emus and then they didn't quite well. That might make a good unenlightened university video. Actually, that's quite a tale to tell. But yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting one to talk about. Oh dear. So what else have we got? On there? The Ask Reddit. What episodes have we got? There's one here. What's your worst ever group project experience? I've never actually really had too bad of a group project experience. The only times I've ever really worked in a group was in my college days. By the way, college is sort of like a high school environment, I would guess, in terms of outside of the UK. So yeah, and we managed to get the work done quite well. But I've never really had any of the horror stories that you do typically hear of people in group work. So that's an interesting thing. But obviously, people do have absolute horror stories. I mean, you get one bad person in a group, it can, well, like they say, weakest link of a chain and all that. It can bring everyone else down, can't it? One person ends up doing all the work. So yeah, that's an interesting one. If you could resurrect any cancelled TV series for one final season, what series would it be? For me, it would be. I quite enjoyed Community, but it did peter out towards the end. So I'd probably say. See, you get a bit of a bad taste and bad impression in your mouth after the last few series. Like even the last Star Trek Next Generation one was pretty lackluster as the 7th season. The 6th season of Community was it was good, but it was below par of what the other ones were. What else is there? I'd like to see another Louis Theroux documentary, but he still makes his, and his was never cancelled. So yeah, I'm not sure, mate. Yeah, I'd say Community. I'd like to see what Dan Harmon could bring back to it from his Rick and Morty experience now. So yeah, no, I'd absolutely. I'd like to see that again. Maybe that'd be a. Well, I mean, it'd be definitely be worth watching. Talking about TV series, actually, I should really count up, and I was an absolute manic fan of The Walking Dead for years and years, and it was something that again me and my brother used to do. We had all the comics up until issue, like the not issue, but like we collected the thicker books, the not the compendiums, but the other ones like the there's like book 1, book 2. Yeah, you probably know what I'm talking about, like the Finnish ones. We had up to like 29 of those, I think, and then we just stopped collecting them because we lost interest in the show. Sort of like the whole Negan storyline and stuff. They didn't do it brilliantly in the show, I didn't think. There was good parts and bad parts, but I think most of it was bad. But absolutely loved that show. I thought it was really good zombie TV adaptation, one of the best ones I've seen in ages. Excuse me, replying to texts. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, no, it's a shame about what happened to The Walking Dead. It's still running, actually. Let's have a look. I heard they were making films at one point. What season are they even on with The Walking Dead? It must be like 10 now. So they're doing the whole Whisperer storyline. It seems. They also made that spin-off, didn't they, about the whole Fear the Walking Dead stuff. Yeah, it looks like they are into their 9th season now. I think in the comic books I heard a rumour that they just discovered a new big city in the comic books or something with like 100,000 plus people in. Anyway, but there you go. What did you like as a teenager but can't stand now? For me, it was dark chocolate. Actually, I used to like dark chocolate when I was a teenager, but now I don't know. The taste just sounds too. I don't know, too bitter for me now, which is quite strange. When do you really need a bit? Well, for me, I like a beer after you've been stressing out during the day a lot. You can have a nice cold beer to chew you out. My favourite's Jamaican Red Stripe. Nice and cheap, nice and cheerful. Although I did have a really nice off-brand one from Aldi the other day, which was surprisingly good. It was quite light and refreshing and crisp. But yeah, like after a hard day's work, there's nothing nicer than getting home and having a beer after you've been doing some manual labour all day or something like that. I sometimes work as a I'd like it just as a manual labour. Really, I lug sort of bricks about, mix up some cement, that sort of stuff. I actually really enjoy the work. It's good money. It's a good way to build up your muscles and work up a bit of the sweat, and then you can get home and have a nice cool beverage and chill out in the sun. Another thing I do enjoy in my spare time actually is I enjoy shortwave radio. I do have a shortwave receiver, and I try and get a few channels on that. Unfortunately, the reception in Brighton in general it's absolutely awful for that kind of thing. It's because we're by these essentially we're like dipped into a valley. It's not a proper valley, but it's it has high cliffs all the way around it, and my bedroom is situated in a weird place. It's not a basement, but it's a kind of it's like a subterranean part of the house, so I don't get massively good Wi-Fi. I have windows and stuff. Obviously, I don't live on the ground like a monster, but not that anyone who lives in a basement is a monster. That's not what I'm saying. But it's terrible for reception, and even while running a wire out doesn't seem to help. Run a wire up out and out through the window, but it doesn't seem to work. I don't think there's anything wrong with my receiver, but however, when I am out of here, I will be hopefully purchasing myself a slightly better shortwave receiver, a bit more of a digital one, which I think I'll quite like and I'll quite enjoy using. I love just seeing what's going on across the world. You can get all sorts of good stuff. I like the like freaky Russian number stations, and you can get occasional Morse code transcriptions and that sort of thing. So that's quite good. Quite enjoy that. What else have we got? Once you reach 20 years old, you have the right to choose your own nationality. Which one will you choose? I'm above 20 now, but if I had the choice, I would say I liked America when I was over there, but that's quite a few years ago now. So I don't think I'd say America, but I loved Australia, so I might say Australian. If I had to choose one other than English, I enjoy England, but I don't know. It does seem a bit bleak and hopeless here at the minute. A lot of fuss around the Brexit thing, which I'm not going to get into because it's not a particularly interesting discussion now. Old news, as they say, and it's it just divides opinion again massively. And I personally did vote for Brexit. But anyway, no, it's a whole other thing. So that's all going a bit wrong. It seems that I've heard rumours of another big recession hitting us again, which will just it'll be absolutely brutal again on people. It just won't do anyone any good at all. Well, it will do a certain class of people very well. Those who maintain power will may even gain even more power and more influence, more wealth. So yeah, typical stuff. I just don't want to end this on a positive, pessimistic note, but that seems to be the reality of things, unfortunately. So yeah, that seems to be the state of things in England, unfortunately. But it'll probably turn around soon enough. And I think I will settle back down here. I do want to travel for a bit, but I will ultimately settle down here. And it's parts of the country are very nice. I'm just not enjoying the parts I'm in now, unfortunately. But there you go. You can't like it all, can you? It's good to, you can't appreciate the good without the bad. Anyway, let's move on from that. In terms of music, I've been listening to some new stuff. I quite enjoyed Grimes' newest song. I think it's the newest song. It might be not the newest ones now, but the We Appreciate Power. You can tell she's been hanging around with Elon Musk a lot. Quite heavily influenced on the artificial intelligence theme there. But yeah, very very enjoyable. Good song. Got a nice little tune to it. Nice provocative lyrics, thoughtful lyrics. Also, while I was on that one, I did see this song by that Poppy YouTube personality. She was quite interesting, quite a cool sort of character. So it's good to see her flourishing, making music that she likes. And that was sort of again similar sort of. I think she was an AI in that video who ended up killing people. It was a very catchy, nice little song, nice little jingle to it. Not really the sort of song music I do typically go for, but I enjoyed it all the same, and I would recommend you check it out as well. So yeah, what else have we got going on the go? What's going on? Not much is going on Reddit. Although I did want to discuss actually, I'll probably bring this up in a future Reddit exploration. Is they've done, and I think this is, while I'm not completely happy with it, I get it. I think it's a preferable alternative to banning. It's the quarantining of subreddits. So as some of you may know, on my subreddit on my channel, I like to explore the slightly more alternative side of Reddit. I enjoy sort of seeing what people who think completely different to me would say. So one of them was debate fascism, which I believe is actually one of my most viewed videos. Let's see how many it's on. It's one of the first ones I did as well. We have, actually it's my most viewed of all time with 136 views, which is pretty staggering. It had quite a lot of retention rate as well, which is good to see. But yeah, no, like I say, while I absolutely despise the ideology, it's interesting to understand how they think, mainly so you can undermine the idea of fascism itself. But it's interesting to read about. So what quarantining does is it acts as a sort of it acts as like an early warning system for people going into the subreddit. And also the subreddit, if you're not subscribed to it, you won't see content from it. And whilst I'm sort of against the idea of limiting ideas reaching people, I think this is a preferable alternative to banning subreddits outright, and I think it'll be more beneficial for society, because beneficial for Reddit. And maybe the internet as a whole, because it seems, from my studies of the outright in my dissertation, it seems like the more we push these, the more we ban these places and of discussion, the more it seems to push these people underground to the slightly darker corners of the web where we can't quite monitor them as well. So ultimately, I don't think it's actually a good thing. We should be keeping an eye out on these people, and we can sort of flag up certain things. We can, argue the point, because ultimately, if you want to defeat fascism, which I think most well-adjusted people will, is you can argue it pretty easily against it, and you can dismantle it quickly, and then hopefully you can turn people around who did believe in this ideology to believing a slightly more progressive one, or a slightly less extreme version of it, which would be, it's a win-win for everyone then, because you don't have to censor anyone, but you can bring them back into the fold, hopefully. So that's the goal. So I think maybe quarantining's not a perfect solution. It might be a good temporary one until we can figure out and decide what we're going to do about these kind of places as a whole. And Reddit do have a bit of a reputation for their banning of certain subreddits. I mean, I've been a member of a few that have been banned, unfortunately, and and I did want to make a few Reddit explanations on it. However, now I obviously won't be able to since it's been banned, which is a shame. But like I say, it's good to see them not banning outright things. This debate fascism subreddit, there's not actually particularly a huge amount of fascists in this one. It's mainly people debating like the core concepts of it. It's a great page for sort of academic analysis of fascism in some respects. So glad to see it's not been banned yet, but yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction, but it should be kept an eye on, and maybe we can discuss it in a few weeks and in the coming months to see what happened with it in the end. So yeah, that'd be good to see. Yeah, so that seems to be Reddit for you. I'm going to do another Reddit exploration soon. I really enjoy making these. It's sort of a bit more. I can be a bit more freeform like I am in this. It's a lot more interesting. So yeah, that's quite exciting, really. We've oh crikey, we're fast approaching an hour time of recording now. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. How I'm going to upload this now. I think I'll probably have to like condense it a little bit and fiddle about with it and stuff like that. But you know, like I say, it's good to get on the mic like this and just have a little rant for a bit. I don't think I'll make too much of a habit of this, but I do quite enjoy it. And if I do make a habit of it, maybe I'll just make a sort of SoundCloud account separate to the channel, and then we can upload them there. But yeah, no, it's interesting as well. There's talk about me and a few friends doing a podcast together, and I've got the equipment to do that, so that can be quite exciting. Hopefully, we can come up with some discussion points to talk about, and it'll be entertaining enough for people. So yeah, excellent. Well, don't think I have a particular amount to say. I want sort of like maybe if I do keep doing this, I want to have like something I do at the end here, like maybe read a quote or recommend something or give a little review about something. I suppose I've reviewed the pizzas and stuff early on today, but I think what I would like to do today is I'd like to recommend you a book that I've read recently. It's if you haven't read it, it's a Stephen King Firestarter, really terrific book. By Stephen King, obviously master of the horror genre. Really great book, all about government conspiracy, and it's got the sort of freaky elements that you expect from Stephen King in there, and sort of like a bizarre storytelling. And it's an easy read. It's a great read. It's a fun read. I couldn't put it down really, to be honest. I bashed through it in like a few days. Pick him up pretty cheap as well. I think it's quite a widespread book, so you can probably find it in your local bookshop. So yeah, no, I highly recommend it. Got given it as a gift actually. It's terrific. So I'd absolutely recommend that. And shall we look for? I know what we'll do. We'll look for a really bad Instagram quote to end off on. Because who doesn't like having a little giggle at some of these? You always get if we can find a BuzzFeed article, that'd be delightful. 60 savage Instagram captions for yourself and others. Here we go. Let's have a look. So we've got what have we got? What would be good? Here we go. Here's a good one. So we've got So what I want you to imagine while I'm reading this quote is, it's sort of a generic Instagram post. You can probably imagine what it is. It's some sort of I don't know. So someone on the beach flexing their muscles or whatever, trying to show off, flexing for the gram, as the kids call it, I believe. and the caption written below is, and it's like those really long albums where you have to flick through them and there are 10 pictures of nearly identical things, but the caption is, "My lips are the gun, my smile is the trigger, my kisses are bullets, label me a killer." So there you go. I don't really know what that was or why I decided to put this in, but thought it might be a bit of fun. So there you go. Anyway, well, this has been an hour rant. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm not going to edit any of the audio. I don't think. Cut it down or anything. I just release it sort of raw, as Gordon Ramsay says. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. I doubt anyone's made it to the end, but if you have, thank you very much. Stick with the channel. Like I say, we'll do a live stream at 10 subscribers. That'll be exciting to see. And yeah, once again, absolutely just thank you for sticking around, enjoying. I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you're enjoying watching the content as much as I'm enjoying making the content. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And as you can probably guess now, this is going to be the bit where I do my typical outro where I say, "This is the Unenlightened University, signing off."